Good afternoon, everyone. Are you guys ready to start this first ever, for us, Zoom press conference? I'm Kari Watkins, the director here at the Memorial, and I thank you for joining us and being a part of a reintroduction of the Oklahoma Standard, and appreciate you guys being here. We are in unprecedented times, and we are seeing the standard lived out, and we thought we've been working on this now for many months, and we thought this is the time to kind of begin to roll it out. And it's my honor to introduce my chairman of the Memorial Foundation, Bob Ross.
Great, thank you, Kari. It's wonderful to be here, and thanks to everyone for joining us. I am Bob Ross, chairman of the Oklahoma City National Memorial Foundation, and we welcome you to today's Zoom press conference. This is a statewide initiative that includes stories of service, honor, and kindness, an exhibit opening next month in the museum, a new website, and tools and resources specifically designed for businesses, schools, and communities. As many of you all know, the Oklahoma Standard was born out of the overwhelming community response to the bombing on April 19th, 1995. In the face of this unspeakable tragedy, the people of Oklahoma really banded together in a community-wide display of altruism. Cars became ambulances, strangers became neighbors, people donated literally the shoes off their feet. The spirit of generosity, of giving until there was really no more to give, has been part of the state's DNA ever since it was founded. Visiting first responders and journalists called this the Oklahoma Standard. And today we begin the process to roll out a statewide campaign that will empower Oklahomans to take action. Wanted to give you all a first look at the new Oklahoma Standard visual identity, which you can see here on your screens. And we'll roll through the brand imagery slides for you to look at. And you can see on your screen, we have show up to serve, rise up to honor, and step up to be kind. We have a lot of representatives and speakers on the Zoom conference call today. I'm very happy they're here, and I'm going to introduce the first one, and that's Sam Presti. And Sam is, of course, on our executive committee for the Oklahoma City National Memorial Museum. He's on our board of directors, and he leads one of Oklahoma City's. Oklahoma is really one of the most important organizations in our city, and importantly, they have made the Memorial and the Oklahoma Standard literally part of their team and their corporate culture. And we appreciate Sam and the Oklahoma City Thunder for all of their support at the Memorial Museum. So Sam, I'll let you take it from here, but Sam's the Executive Vice President and General Manager, Oklahoma City Thunder.
Thanks, Bob. Privileged to be a part of this, and I'm extremely honored to be able to speak on this particular topic, especially because I'm not from here originally. One of the things that really struck me when I arrived and started working with the board was just the way in which people from Oklahoma City and Oklahoma. This Oklahoma Standard is something that they've just kind of lived by for quite a long time. And that's not to say that every other state doesn't have tremendous values, traditions, and definitive identity. But it's clear to me that, people here that were born and raised here, it's just kind of like part of their DNA. It also occurred to me that as the city was rapidly advancing, and I think at times really looking to measure themselves against other places, what could potentially be at risk is the fact that as you bring more and more people in from outside the state to enhance your community and be amongst the most innovative and rapid rising, mid-sized cities in the country, if you're not intentional with teaching and expressing these types of values and the tradition of these values, and most importantly, where they stem from, where they root from, you have the chance of me really diluting that. And, a lot of times people think about educating students or young people as they're growing up. I think the community does a good job of that, but it was also apparent that we needed to think about as we get new people into our workforce that have lived in other places, being able to express and educate that to them as well, so that as the city rises and grows and evolves, there's also a scale up with the standard itself. And the last thing I would add is that one of the things that's really exciting about what is taking place today is the fact that the standard obviously means something to everyone, and it's a unique thing. And every community and state has to preserve the values in which it was founded and how it's been built upon. But the only way to really sustain that is to actually release it and allow future generations to find ways to mold it and make it their own and pass that on as well. It's the only way that these types of things can sustain and last over time. And the rebranding, I give so much credit to Kari and the team that worked on this project, because it's really an opportunity to continue to allow the Oklahoma Standard to evolve in a way that allows people of all ages to capture it and express it and own it. But at the same time, the core tenets are still well in place. So just a great day, and a lot of credit to Kari and her team for bringing this to fruition.
Thanks, Sam. Appreciate those thoughtful words. And again, just appreciate your leadership and support of everything at the memorial and the museum. Next up is our mayor of Oklahoma City, David Holt. And Mayor Holt, we appreciate you being here today. I know how these unprecedented times have kept you very busy, albeit remotely. And we have seen you on all the social media channels and are just so proud of you and your leadership. And we appreciate you being on the board of the Memorial Museum as well, and all the support you've provided us over the years. So welcome.
Thank you. Thank you, Bob. Can you hear me okay?
Yep, he can hear you great. Thanks.
Thank you for your leadership at the memorial. Thank you, Kari, for yours as well. And thank you to everybody on this call for supporting this initiative and so many others. I just, obviously these are extraordinary times, and maybe some first instinct that we might have at times like this is to push off events and announcements like this. And I think we all agreed in talking about this that it's times of crisis when we need these values that are being highlighted here today more than ever. So when you think about service, honor, and kindness, and you think about the Oklahoma Standard, this was a brand and a value and a set of values that came out of a crisis 25 years ago. And today's COVID-19 crisis is one that we'll remember just as long, and it's one that we need help through. We all need assistance through this period in our history, and I think it comes through these kinds of shared values and the unique history that we have here in Oklahoma City. So I think it's very vital that we're doing this, even if we're doing it in obviously a very different fashion than was originally imagined. But highlighting the ideas that are important here are actually very helpful to the here and now. But they're also timeless, and I know these are values that we intend to carry on long beyond COVID-19. And it speaks to the legacy that we're trying to build here of building something positive out of what happened on April 19th, 1995. The 25th anniversary is a symbol of that event's transition from experience to historical event. And for it to have relevance and resonance in the decades ahead, you got to draw upon the timeless lessons. And for me, it's always been, the fact that political violence is never the answer, the fact that dehumanization is evil and that we must always stand against it. The idea that evil acts start with words and that we have to have better conversations. And also, the reality of how we responded. And that's where the Oklahoma Standard was born. So I think these values that we're highlighting today will speak to people long beyond COVID-19, but they're pretty helpful right now too. And so I'm glad that we're having this event, and I hope that that these thoughts and the way that we've responded in the past to crisis here in Oklahoma City gives people a little comfort and a little confidence today as we try to navigate through COVID-19 and then in all the crises that lie ahead in the years ahead. These timeless values that were born out of the Oklahoma Standard that we're highlighting today are so important to our city, and they're so important, as Sam said, to who we are as a people, and we should take pride in them and we should highlight them. So thank you all for the work you've done here today, and I'm proud to be a part of it.
Thank you, Mayor. Appreciate your words. And in times like these, we need strong words, and we need communication from our leaders like you. And you've done both. You've done a great job so far, and we appreciate you being here today. The next person to speak is Justin Brown. Justin is the Cabinet Secretary, Human Services and Early Childhood Initiatives, and Director of Oklahoma Department of Human Services. And Justin is a very good friend of mine.
So I'm not sure, Bob, I lost you there for a second. So I'm assuming you all can hear me.
Yes, we can.
So I'll just get started. Thank you for
you bet
for that introduction. I'm sure it was kind, but I wasn't able
well,
to
you
hear it, but,
can you hear it?
Okay. It's okay. I'll get started. It may have been something on my side. So the thumbs up means you can hear me. When I was asked to participate in this, not having been directly associated with the memorial, it was such an honor because of what I think about the Memorial Museum and the personal connection that I have, just history here of being an Oklahoma City citizen and being around and somewhat being a part of a generation that was shaped by the bombing and the aftermath, but then also by the development of this Oklahoma Standard that we're talking about here today. It really is an honor to participate in this conversation and to be a part of the ongoing efforts around the COVID-19 issue across the state. So this conversation is, of course, incredibly timely, as Mayor Holt pointed out, in that we face a set of concerns that will require all of us to participate together to solve these problems for one another. So it is, of course, also important to point out that there is a generation, our kids being some of those, that will be defined by this situation as well, much like we were defined by the events of April 19th, 1995. So I wanted to share specifically how we are embracing this Oklahoma Standard as a state in the launch of our Be a Neighbor platform and the Ready Help Go initiative that just launched recently. As I shared this concept with Bob and Kari a couple of months ago, it was very clear that there's a lot of correlation and alignment in the mission of our organization in the state, along with the organization of the memorial and museum, and this branding in particular, and the relaunch of the Oklahoma Standard. So we as a state are looking to begin to gather people in who are intended to serve their communities together. So the gathering of those people will be done through our Be a Neighbor platform, which really allows people to raise their hand and stand up and say, when it's time, when it's safe, I am here and I'm ready to help. And I think that message really embodies the Oklahoma Standard. And I'm happy that these messages align together. So we will need to respond together. We will need to help one another in ways that we have not yet begun to imagine. So it's been great to think about this in the context of the 25th anniversary of the Memorial Museum, or of the events of April 19th. So we will be out. We're asking people to stand up and raise their hands through the beaneighbor.org website to identify where they can help specifically, whether they're a nurse or a teacher or a mental health professional, or they just want to help a nonprofit organization in serving their community. So we encourage people that during these unprecedented times, that it's time now to stand up as much as there ever was a time to help each other and to serve together. So please, I encourage people to stand up and share, and so that when it's time and it's safe, we can mobilize our set of volunteers to serve our communities together. So We believe that rising up together is the solution, and is the way that we as a generation and a set of Oklahomans will serve our Oklahoma as a better Oklahoma in the future. So thank you for the opportunity to participate today, and for all of the incredible work that the museum and the memorial has done over the last 25 years to keep the dream alive, to keep the memory of those who were impacted 25 years ago fresh in the minds of all of those who remain and serve our communities. So thank you very much for the opportunity to participate.
Thanks, Justin. Appreciate that. And I didn't get to do all my introduction of you, so I might say a few more words. I was just saying, that not only are we great friends, Justin, and colleagues, and just appreciate your service to the state of Oklahoma during this very difficult time. We know you and your team are in the trenches. You're serving the most disadvantaged families in our communities. You are doing everything in your power to shield these from some really devastating issues they face. And so we appreciate that, and we are hopeful that this rebranding effort and the efforts underway here at the Memorial Museum will help you, will help the Be a Neighbor program launch and be a real positive impact on the entire state. So thank you so much for everything you're doing and for your leadership and for protecting our most vulnerable children and families across the state.
Thank you, Bob.
Next up is Alan Wright, the Vice President of Public and Government Affairs at Devon Energy, and Devon supports the Memorial Museum on so many different levels, including the marathon. They've been our longest and most supportive donor over the years, and so we certainly appreciate Devon and not just the corporate support, but all of the employees and staff that volunteer and help the memorial and the marathon do what we do each year. And Alan, it's great to have you on the Zoom call, and we appreciate you and the company Devon for supporting this rollout today and for everything you've done to help us with our mission at the memorial. Alan?
Thank you, Bob, and thank you, Kari. As Bob mentioned, Devon's been a long time supporter of the memorial, and we're proud to sponsor this rollout of the Oklahoma Standard. As you also may know, our founder, Larry Nichols, and the Nichols family has also been just a bedrock supporter of the memorial. So it's only fitting that Devon be a part of this. Service, honor, and kindness are characteristics that we value at Devon. We're a long-standing member of the Oklahoma City community. We champion a number of local causes across the state, and we certainly believe that those efforts embody the Oklahoma Standard. We're really proud to be a part of this. This is very much a fabric of our community, and the opportunity to reintroduce the values and the principles of the memorial to a new generation of Oklahomans is a real privilege. So we're excited on behalf of Devon and all of our employees. We're proud to be a part of this. Thank you.
Thanks, Alan. Next up is Jordan Ward, our Operations Director for the Oklahoma City Memorial Marathon. Jordan, you're up.
Thanks, Bob. Part of this reintroduction today is introducing a new partnership that we are very excited about. This year, we will be partnering with our friends in Tulsa with the Williams Route 66 Marathon. And through that partnership this fall, any runner who will complete either the full or half marathon in both the Williams Route 66 Marathon in Tulsa and the Oklahoma City Memorial Marathon in October will receive an Oklahoma Standard medal. This medal represents an accomplishment of completing two great races in our state, but more importantly, it represents the values of Oklahoma Standard, a love for Oklahoma and appreciation for our two great cities. So here's a look at the medal that will be given to anyone who runs the full or half in either the Williams Route 66 Marathon or the Oklahoma City Memorial Marathon this fall. And we are very excited to be partnering with our friends in Tulsa. This is something that we are excited to just kind of give back to the running community and allow people to be a part of the Oklahoma Standard in this way.
Great, thank you. And hopefully everyone was able to see that image there. And appreciate Jordan for all your work, and really the whole, all the team at the Memorial Museum. We appreciate you continuing to work through this, this time. Next up is Destiny Greene, Executive Director of the Williams Route 66 Marathon. Destiny, you're next.
Hi, thank you for having us. For the past 25 years, Oklahomans have demonstrated that we can always come together in times of tragedy to lift each other up and to strengthen our community. The current crisis is no different. We want to give Oklahomans another reason to come together and celebrate our team, or our strength and spirit, by supporting our two state major marathons as one team, Team Oklahoma. Runners are a community that understand that pushing through adversity and how important it is to work towards your goals. This initiative is about those values, uniting runners and Oklahomans, about serving our communities and the bright future that we know is coming in the future for us. For all those reasons, we're proud to be a part of the Oklahoma Standard and its mission to encourage service, honor, and kindness.
Great. Thank you so much, Destiny. Our final speaker is our Executive Director, Kari Watkins, our fearless leader, and someone that we are certainly proud as a board and the executive committee team to stand behind. It's been incredible to watch you and the team plan for the 25th anniversary, all the while now dealing with having to change all those plans and pivot in other directions. So Kari, thank you for everything you've done over your 24-year service at the Memorial Museum, and we look forward to hearing your comments now. Thanks.
Thank you, Bob and Sam and Mayor Holt and Secretary Brown, Destiny, Jordan, most importantly to Devin for underwriting this for us. And we're proud of the partnership with the Thunder too, that lifts up the standard. You see on the tag of the New Jerseys, service, honor, kindness. Those are really the tenets of this project, and we're proud to reintroduce those to Oklahomans and to remind people during this time it is the time to step up and show up and rise up and to do that in a way that brings service, honor, and kindness back to our community. We've seen some great examples of that over the last few weeks in Oklahoma City and around the state, where sidewalk chalk has become, way more normal than over the last few months, where you see kids and adults alike writing messages. You've seen people drive in the carloads to turn on lights at hospitals and to leave supplies at hospitals. We've seen some great actions of people who have certainly shown up to serve, risen to honor, and stepped up to be kind. So we're proud to launch this again today statewide, to empower businesses, school kids sitting at home looking for things to do, to jump in and figure out a way to serve. I think Secretary Brown has shown us a great method to get our names into a database, and so they can put us in the right place when the time's right. Teaching these values of the Oklahoma Standard is even more important in these times, as you heard us say. But I think whether you're stuck at home or if you're battling on the front lines of the pandemic, we want the opportunity to support and take care of one another. And in this 25th year, we think this is the perfect time to reintroduce that. We launched 2 new books that are out. One is kind of the process of how Oklahoma City did this over the last 25 years. And one's a new book by Frank and Kathy Keating, the governor and first lady at the time, who took children's art from 25 years ago and made it relevant to today. And I think the beauty of that is both books, the proceeds from both books benefit the museum, but it's just understanding the process of what we went through. It really the reason the marathons are so important is because this has been a marathon. This has been a journey for our communities, and living at the Oklahoma Standard is very important to us. And so as we enter the 25th anniversary week, we're proud to roll this out. We're very honored to have partners across the state. When we had to move the marathon to October, we were beginning to infringe on the Tulsa date, and so we wanted to look for a way, and we've something we've wanted to do for years. And so sometimes challenges bring opportunities, and this was something we felt was great to just connect with our friends down the turnpike. In 1995, there was no turnpike. We were one big state, and I think that's something we want to really work hard to get back to, and continue to teach those values of coming together and showing up to serve, rising up to honor, and stepping up to be kind. You can learn more about all this on our website at oklahomastandard.com, and we would invite you to check out all the materials. We just thank you guys for being with us on this.